Under the Sapphire Sun is a role-playing campaign set in the Dragon Age universe, Thedas. We are running it using the Dragon Age RPG system by Green Ronin. The short version is that Under the Sapphire Sun is a story of a group of warriors, mages and mercenaries who are part of a great inquisition to discover the truth of a strange new light that's appeared in the sky. It is a game of mystery, investigation, politics and a fair bit of mortal peril, set 400 years before the first Dragon Age video game. Now, for the slightly longer version. Be warned, this story does deviate from the Dragon Age canon somewhat. This is deliberate. We wanted to tell a completely original story, and for our characters to be able to change the course of history. You don't need to know anything about Dragon Age to enjoy the story, but hopefully if you are new to the world of Thedas, will inspire you to try one of the video games. And if you are already a fan, then hopefully you'll enjoy our new story just as much. It is the Exalted Age, around 400 years prior to the events of Dragon Age Origins. The world of Thedas is still recovering from a long and deadly blight, in which demonic entities known as Darkspawn emerged from their shadowy subterranean lairs and invaded the world above. The blight ended decades ago, but it devastated the kingdoms of Thedas, some of which are forever changed as a result. A few months ago, a new light appeared in the sky, called by many the Sapphire Sun. It is far brighter than the full moon and bluer than a clear sky, so at night all of Thedas is bathed in this sapphire light. Even the sun itself cannot drown out its brightness. Nobody is sure what the Sapphire Sun is, how it has appeared or why, but Nobody is sure what the Sapphire Sun is, how it has appeared or why, but a good few have noticed that there is something about its colour that reminds them very strongly of lyrium, the mystical substance which gives power to mages. Thus far, the Sapphire Sun has had no ill effect, but some mages have noticed their powers growing very slowly since it appeared. This period of history is one in which the Chantry, the continent-spanning church of the Maker and his consort Andraste, has almost absolute control of the mages of Thedas. Decades of brutal reform have given the military arm of the Chantry, the fearsome Templars, increasingly drastic powers, resulting in entire circles of mages that know very little of the power that defines them. The new divine, Gloriana, who was sworn into her sacred office as a teenager, does not support these brutal policies, but there's little that can be done to slow the momentum of history. Meanwhile, the Sapphire Sun has borne a new crisis. The mages' great libraries were long ago appropriated by the Chantry, kept locked away by mothers who do not understand or have any interest in the ancient tomes that moulder in their cellars. There has been nobody to research this Sapphire Sun, nobody who could hope to understand what it was, and so divine Gloriana called her seekers of truth to her and proclaimed an Inquisition. The purpose of the Inquisition is to locate and recover lost mage artifacts, to seek, pardon and recruit those mages that have hidden from the authorities, and ultimately to answer whatever challenge the Sapphire Sun poses. The characters of this story are members of the Inquisition from a mix of backgrounds, based in the ancient port town of Val-Marcier. They will face danger, intrigue, tests of courage and loyalty, and they will learn startling truths that will have them questioning everything they think they know. Join them on their adventures as they stand together under the Sapphire Sun.
insane language. This is the It You Trash Crew's Dragon Age.
There's no sound.
No what?
Oh, they can't hear us.
I thought
we were going to be seamless.
I thought it was my microphone again. Don't do that to me. I nearly threw my microphone through the window. I nearly defenestrated my microphone, which would have been difficult because there are boxes, but I would have tried. God damn it. Trying again. Professional. Sup, Trash Fam, and welcome to this, the It You Trash Cruise.
Oh, no. Oh, hang on. Tune is...
What?
You and Sable Whisper are in the wrong places.
Why did you interrupt my spiel? That wouldn't have stopped me spieling.
I'm sorry, on you go.
Resume spiel.
Trash Crew, we're doing it. Dragon Age, you're all here. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm going to sip my tea. As some of you might have been aware, I, Praxis Descends, have developed something of a coke habit recently and have vowed to get back onto tea, as it was my original purpose in life.
When you say coke habit, you want to be careful.
I mean, I have a lot of empties by my...
I was a bit worried. Even I didn't know what you meant there. Like, oh, drug jokes. That's a bit...
I'm too poor for that.
Dark.
So yeah, those of you who are here who just saw our new introduction will perhaps guess or look at our beautiful layout as designed by the Trash Crew's resident artists in residence, Reverie Terribly and Pretty Ideal, who are amazing. All the art you see before you has been designed by them. The intro, the beautiful music that you heard was composed by Sassy Dragon herself. And of course, the words, those enigmatic words that foretell of the campaign to come, as written by our new Trash Crew storyteller, Sable Whisper.
I'm waving my trash bags. I'm excited.
Throw trash bags for Sable. Trash bags for Sable.
Oh, yeah.
Put a bunch in the chat right now and just click a whole bunch. Do it.
Gave us bits instead. I don't know how
bits, Trash Crew, trash bits. Yeah, that leads me nicely onto a bit of housekeeping. As you may well know, up until this point, I, Praxis Descends, have been the storyteller and have been ruling the Trash Crew with an iron fist, and have been commanding our system of helps and hinders, which, as you well know, are basically a way for me to sow the seeds of chaos in the path of my very dear friends and cause them to have, minor breakdowns on members of their personal family. That ends today, as I have a statement prepared from Sable Whisper himself about what the helps and hinders system will mean in the new campaign. As you may well know, Sable has not used the helps and hinders system before, so has been adapting it slightly for his own personal storytelling style, which is great because I don't think everyone could run games the way I do, because you'd probably go mad, because I run a lot of things at the same time, and it shows. A minor help or hindrance can give you a slight advantage or disadvantage in resolving a scene or encounter. So it might not be literally immediate, but will be immediate in the scene as it happens. These will be resolved as soon as possible, usually aiding or hindering. Oh, it's so weird not to be stood in the background just thumbs downing everyone like Nero. I suppose you can help us now I'm in the party. That would be fine. While we, the PCs, are investigating our environment, persuading or deceiving other characters, or defeating foes in combat, moderate helps and hindrances will affect the course of a game session or major section of a quest we happen to be on, so a much longer term, making success or complications significantly more likely. It's ingrained. I wanted to say complicate everything. These can take some time to set up, although opportunities will be devised in secret between Sable and whoever donates for the help or hindrance. Sable has been preparing helps and hinders ready to go. So if you have any that you want to, you just want to throw things in our way, but you're not sure what, he has things set up in advance. and will make any ongoing mission or game session considerably easier or harder on your beloved players. Whereas a major help or hindrance is a lot more similar to how I run it. These will have ongoing consequences and can be left up to the storyteller to do with as he pleases, as in the case of some people's parents that we know who just left it entirely in my hands, and that was fabulous. Or you, the donor, can come up with a plot point or an idea for drama you want to sow. I know Interiority is very creative when it comes to coming up with his own helps and hinders, mostly hinders. These influences, good or bad, will be felt throughout the entire story. This campaign, Under the Sapphire Sun, is going to be a long-running campaign, much longer than Nishikawa or Voice of the Mountain, but will be broken up into effective seasons. So we will be taking breaks between plot arcs. So a major help or hindrance will be felt throughout the season, and perhaps even throughout the meta plot of the game. Who knows? Perhaps they will have permanent positive or negative consequences, such as finding some great magical weapon or provoking a new and deadly enemy. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to all these hinders now that I am on the other side of the gemming screen. I know that I have a lot of them coming, so all I can say is bring it on. So now I'm going to hand you over to Sunny Kitty, who is going to tell you a little more about how you can actually do that, because I still don't know, and I would quite like to learn.
So there are two ways that you can influence the stream. The first is literally just by hanging out, watching us. You gather trash bags, and then you redeem those trash bags for minor helps or hinders. So to redeem them, you can either, if you're on PC, take your cursor right over the video player. A little trashy will pop up. You click on him. You click on redeem these points, and you select which one you want to redeem for. Or there is a link down below in the panels. You can use that. It'll take you directly to Streamlabs website. Make sure you're logged in with your Twitch account, and then you can redeem them there as well. That second option is also how you can redeem. I was so close!
Nailed it.
So close. It almost was okay, you guys. It's fine.
I like redeem. Let's keep
It's okay. The
So-
word trash is in our name. Like,
Thank
fine.
you. So, to redeem those points, you can redeem in another way with real money. You can either spend $5 for a minor help or hinder, you can spend $10 for a moderate help or hinder, or $50 if you want to do something major help or hinder. You do that link below. It'll take you right to where to do it. Make sure you add 1 cent to it if you want it to be a hinder so that it pops up with the right alert. We made it just like ridiculously expensive so that you would only help. No! Praxis, you're on our side now. It's a yay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't help myself.
Don't you know her though, right?
I know.
It's the story of the frog and the scorpion.
Like love
I
and
do.
hate is the same thing sometimes. So
And I believe as you were giving that spiel, then our friend of the trash crew, Brandon Leon Gambetta, might have just redeemed a minor hinder to start off the game. So Sable, pop that in your bag for later.
Noted.
Brandon is a good friend of the trash crew and likes to cause drama. Who does that? So yeah, it is with great pleasure and a little bit of sadness, a little bit of handing over of the doctor that I'm going to say. Take it away, Sable Whisper.
Okay. Well, just to begin with, I'd like to thank the Itchy Trash Crew for inviting me to be their GM for the time being. Fantastic. This is my first ever time GMing on stream, which might explain a few things. Hopefully not. We'll see. So this is planned to be a 10-episode season, what will hopefully be one of a number of seasons of the story. If we get good ratings. It's going to run roughly fortnightly, which means every 2 weeks, for those of you who don't have the Queen on your money. With a bit of a season break in August. So before we get into the story, I just want to talk in a bit more detail about the setting. Obviously, some of you heard the trailer that ran before we went live. But as it said, this is set quite some time before the Dragon Age video games, which is about 350 years before Dragon Age Origins, in what was called the Exalted Age, the fifth age of the Chantry. So while I've kept to the Dragon Age canon as much as I can, there are some bits that I've changed, some bits I've added or just ignored because I don't care. And also because it's set 350 years in the past, there's a chance that the player's actions will change history, and that the decisions that they make, particularly if they decide later on in the game to become more prominent and to set foot on the world stage, they might actually do things that reverberate all the way to the Dragon Age, and that actually might change how things pan out. I'm not going to stop that happening. If this becomes an alternate universe, it becomes an alternate universe. I think that's great. So there will be times when I've interpreted a bit of the Dragon Age canon differently than you might, which is great. That's fine. But I've done that. I know what I'm doing. I haven't probably made a horrible mistake, probably, with that. Some of the recent history's changed. I've changed how the Templars are in this setting. You'll see that fairly early on. They're very different. And hopefully nothing I've done will be too earth-shattering, and you'll indulge me, and we can all enjoy the madness that I've come up with. So, it is the 75th year of the Exalted Age. It's a time of strife. The most recent Exalted marches against the Tevinter Imperium ended abruptly with the Fourth Blight. And that lasted for 12 years. It was about 50 years ago now, but the effects of it have been profound. This is, after all, a medieval society, and we're talking about a time when all of the working poor were put in arms and sent to fight, at first in the Exalted Marches and next against the Darkspawn. So when the Blight finally ended, there were far fewer peasants to return to the fields, far fewer skilled artisans and craftsmen to return to their work in the towns. So this isn't the grand orlais of Dragon Age Inquisition, where everyone's wearing liquid gold and huffing whatever they like. This is actually a very desperate place. Even the rich are feeling the impact because they're suddenly having to pay all of their workers quite a bit more. Or they'll trot off to the next farm 10 miles over and try their luck with the more generous lord. The politics of the realm are still somewhat in flux. So the kingdom of Ferelden is actually only about 30 years old at the moment. Its second king, Waylon, is presently ruling after his father went missing. Navarra has recently had a military coup, and the royal dynasty, the Pendergasts, you might have heard of, have been given the sack, and the Van Markhams have started their reign, which does make things a little unstable. Navarra is right up there next to the Tevinter Imperium. The Tevinter Imperium, by the way, which didn't help with the Blight, wasn't really affected by it, so everyone's keeping an eye on that. And in the Chantry, in the 12 years of the Blight, there were two changes to the Divine. The first new Divine was called Theodosia the Elder, so called because, in fact, she was very elderly when she took the post, and she didn't reign for very long, but she immediately, upon becoming Divine, blamed mages for the Blight. Not just blights in general, obviously, but for this specific blight, saying that the increased liberality towards mages has allowed this blight to take place. She didn't reign for very long, but then her successor, Divine Rosamond, followed this party line, and Rosamond ruled for a very long time, almost half a century. And under Rosamund, restrictions on mages grew, and funding for the Templar Order grew as well, to the point where at the end of Rosamund's reign, the Templars aren't just the martial wing of the church, they are actually essentially a self-thriving army. Almost a state within a state. And I mean, those of you who know the setting know that the Chantry, like several religious organizations in the real world, is an international organization. And the Templars really are a similar thing. They're an organization that acts independently of the thrones of Thedas. They take their orders ostensibly from the divine, but really they have their own command structure. And after 45 years under Rosamund, where they become accountable just to themselves, they've gained an amount of privilege. Now, Rosamund is not the current divine. Towards the end of her life, her policies towards mages and her policies towards Templars didn't change, but at the very end of her life, she made a very strange decision. And she was so personally powerful at this point because she was propped up by this tremendous army of Templars that she nominated her successor. And that successor was called Divine Gloriana. And she was 17 years old when she first sat the Sunburst throne. She was so young that when she first sat on the throne, her silk-slippered feet didn't even touch the floor. And she was a controversial choice for a number of reasons. The first being that she's a Ferelden, the first Ferelden to hold the post of divine. She's very young, of course, which leads quite a lot of people to wonder about her competence. She wasn't even really a mother. She was a sister in the Ferelden Order who just moved to Val Royeaux, just started serving the Chantry, and suddenly she's the divine. And she immediately possibly gets a little too big for her boots, her tiny silk slippers, and she says, we need to moderate our behavior towards mages. We actually are now, by treating mages like cattle, we are violating the will of the Maker. We are going against Andraste's vision for how magic fits into society. Because at this point, these circles are so ineffectual that magic isn't serving humanity. And remember, Andraste said that magic must serve humanity. But it's not anymore because they're not really allowed to do it. You go to the circles not to study magic and practice it in a safe environment. You go to the circles to be put away for life, as though being magical was a crime. And she said, no, we can't do this anymore. But the problem is that the Templars were so powerful and the ruling elite was so in favor of mage repression that all she did by saying that was weaken her position. She didn't have the allies, she didn't have the political nous to be able to make statements like that and change decades of Chantry law. It's been a few years now, 4 years since Gloriana became the divine. And about 9 months ago, the Sapphire sun appeared in the sky. The Sapphire sun is almost like a second moon. It's as bright as brighter than a full moon. It is a vivid blue, the color almost of lyrium. And it's so bright that even with a full moon in the night sky, the whole of Thedas is bathed in its light. So it's been around for almost a year. People are, I don't want to say used to it, but certainly it's become the new normal. And it's had side effects. It does seem that magic is becoming more accessible, more stable, more readily available to people. Because of the brutal policies of the Templars over the past 40 or 50 years, there are more apostates than ever, which is mages in hiding, because people are starting, even Chantry mothers are refusing to send mages to the circles because they believe that the majority of Templars, or at least the Templar leadership, is misguided in how they're treating mages. And so mages are being quietly put in this place or that, taught to suppress their powers, but still fundamentally allowed to go about their business. And as anyone knows who studied the history of magic in Thedas, suppressing magic does not always go as smoothly as people would like it to. After a few months, it became clear that the Sapphire Sun, which no one knows what it is, why it's here, was not something the circles were going to be able to research, because for the past 45 years, all of their more advanced tomes have been taken away from them. All of their most learned scholars have been gently dulled by the years of simply not being able to study. And the Divine realized that while southern Thedas, which is the bits of Thedas that the Chantry rules over, was flapping about pointlessly trying to figure out what the Sapphire Sun was, to the north, the Tevinter Imperium had probably already started noticing that magic was getting stronger, and the Tevinter Imperium runs its whole society on magic, and it runs its armies on magic, and you see where this might be going. So the Divine calls for an Inquisition. It's a controversial move because really there's only been one Inquisition, and it was disbanded as soon as it wasn't needed. And the Inquisition is usually led by the Seekers of Truth. There aren't that many Seekers of Truth because all of the priority has gone to the Templars. So the Seekers have been given this mission. You are to go out into the world, you are to find hidden mages, you are to find these books that are mouldering away in Chantry cellars, and you are to bring those things together, to study them, to find out what the Sapphire Sun is, what can be done about it. And the catch is that any mage who is in hiding, who comes forward and serves the Inquisition, is, by decree of the Divine, forgiven for their apostasy. And so are the people who hide them. So in a way, it's an olive branch. But if you're a mage and you've been living in hiding, not all of them are buying it. A lot of them are thinking, well, it's a trap. And those who think, well, it might not be a trap now, but when the Inquisition is over, they're going to round us up and put us in circled house. They're not going to let us go back into hiding. Apostasy is still a crime. We've been forgiven this once, but, you know. So it's not been very smooth for the people of Thedas. It's not been very smooth for the non-humans either. Elves in the alienages have come under a lot of scrutiny. They're very densely populated. They keep to their own kind, and they get a lot of attention from Templars because, of course, if a mage is born among the elves of the alienages, they're in particular danger. Particularly in Orlais, there's no love lost between the Orlesians and the elves. The Dalish have found on many occasions since the Sapphire Sun has appeared that their Aravels are being forcibly turned away, not allowed anywhere near human settlements. Dwarves, who normally, because of their detachment from magic, are normally immune to any problem that surfaces from magic, in this case are in a lot of trouble for separate reasons. Around 3 or 4 years ago, it became evident that there was a plague spreading among surface dwarves. Not a plague on the scale of the Black Death, but certainly something worrying, something that had troubling psychotic symptoms and seemed invariably fatal. So dwarves are necessary for supplying lyrium to the surface world. But if lyrium is behaving strangely, and some believe it is, since the Sapphire Sun appeared, and if the dwarves are behaving strangely since before that, things are becoming very difficult between the Chantry and the dwarves. The Chantry, of course, being the primary purchaser of lyrium. So that brings us to our PCs. They are a cell of Inquisition officers in the town of Valmarcia, which is just to the north of Halam Shiral. And they've been assembled by a seeker called Adriana de Malfil. who's brought them together for various reasons. I suppose the best people to tell you about the Inquisitors is the people playing them. So, Praxis, why don't you start?
Me. Terrified now that if I mute my mic, it's going to just turn off. So yeah, hi gang, it's me, Practice Descends. I am playing Tiernan, who is a Templar seconded by the Inquisition. So not fully Inquisition, but not fully in with all the Templars. He was born in Ferelden, which, as you heard, is a newly formed nation. He actually truly wanted to go into the church to be a chanter, but there isn't a lot of money in being a poor lowly chanter, as men can't rise very high in the chantry. It's a woman's game. So when the great expansion of the Templars went out, his family pushed him into signing up, which he had mixed feelings about, owing to a slightly turbulent relationship with his parents and brothers. But then when a chance to be shipped overseas to Orlais came up, he basically jumped at the chance and hasn't looked back, except for all the letters and money that he sends back home to Denerim. But aside from that, he is basically thrilled to be part of the party. But unlike other Templars who are almost entirely driven by skills in the physical or spiritual arts, Tiernan actually is still very wed to his books and reads every chance he gets and enjoys being the lore master of the group, and is hoping to memorize the Chant of Light one day.
Anyone else want to go? Tell us about yourself.
Don't think anyone wants to follow Praxis, but yeah, I guess I'll go next. Arlen is also a Templar. I'd say he's probably less devout than Tiernan. He sort of joined the Templars by accident. He was born in Kirkwall, which some of you may have heard of, if you've played Dragon Age 2. He's actually from a pretty rough background. His father and mother ran a gang out of near Darktown in Kirkwall, which is the bad part. And as the son of the leader of the gang, he, has done some not great things in his life that I think he would like to forget about. There was an incident that happened where someone he cared about very deeply got hurt, and Arlen decided to leave Kirkwall forever and found himself in Orlais. And basically, he spent his life being told what to do by his father, and it became kind of a habit for him. He doesn't know what to do with himself if he's not being given orders. So it was basically become a Templar or become a warden, and becoming a warden isn't all that peachy. So Templars it was. And now he is here and hoping to become a better person, so he can forgive himself for not being there for the people in his life before. Yes, so he's hoping to make the world a better place, but was a bit unhappy with some of the things the Templars were doing. So when the chance came up to join the Inquisition, who have a new direction, might provide a solution to the whole mage problem without him feeling like he's a total monster. He's like, yes, Inquisition sounds nice, sign me up. And in the Templars, he met his new best friend, Tiernan, who basically became his entire world. Just, what are you doing with your life, Arlen? I will follow Tiernan around doing literally anything. And that's about it. So yeah, that's Arlen. Hope you like him.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'll do it. So I'm Sunny Kitty. I play Efleda, or Effie. Please just call her Effie, because Lord knows I can't even pronounce her name, so, I don't expect anyone else to. She is a mage. She was maybe an apostate. I mean, like, I feel like that's a really rough term for someone who just didn't want to get locked up and wanted to... It's fine. She was born to a noble family, noble Orlesian family, well off. Very much so, her young life was built around the game. That was her plan, was to get into that. She loved it. She loved the intrigue. She loved manipulating people in a nice way. And then, oops, she maybe had some magic that sneezed out of her. And she, so she got sent off by her parents to work with some chantry sisters who were willing to hide her. And she worked as a healer, maybe was a lot too good at healing. And so the Inquisition came knocking and said, hey, if you don't want to be executed, how about you come hang out with us? And she was like, well, that sounds a heck of a lot better than execution. So let's do it. It's not noble, sorry.
Okay, I'll go next. That's fine. My name is Bree. I go by Pretty Ideal. I will be playing this game as Thora, who is a dwarf. So being on the surface is a fun thing. She was born in Orthamar and left under maybe not the greatest of circumstances, but she is determined to put all of that behind her and start a new life and maybe help some people on the way. She met her new bestest buddy, Iris, one day at a market. They kind of fought over the same pastry, but then we're like, nah, that's cool. Okay. And they decided to camp together that night because they were getting some strange looks from the small little village of people. Very, very suspicious. You know, what are these outsiders doing in our village at our market, daring to buy our goods? So they camped. And they said, you know, we'll just one night, you know, we'll camp tonight and we'll go our separate ways in the morning. But the morning never came, and night after night they stuck together and they built this relationship over about two or so years. It's been a fun thing. And they made their money doing odd jobs for people who would let them help. And one day they did a job for someone that turned out to be a little more important than they thought this person was. And they were offered a position with the Inquisition. And they said, what? We don't have to travel around convincing people we're not evil? We're going to kill them in the night? This sounds wonderful. And so they've started off on this adventure together with an old friend and then these new people. I mean, we're getting there, I think. And so Thora and Iris are like best buds, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm happy to try to solve the mystery, help the people, and hopefully not die in the process. And then, ta-da!
Sounds great, to be honest. So I'm playing Iris. She is a Dalish elf. Little Dalish elf. I say little, she's not very little. She's quite tall. She's like the size of Arlen. And she lived in the Brazilian forest. And she bounced around in all the flora and fauna. And some stuff went down. And she was basically exiled and was told she was too dangerous to stay with the clan. So she wandered off, didn't really know what she's doing. And then met Thora, and a lovely friendship blossomed. And Iris had no idea what she was doing. She was kind of good with a bow and could climb trees. So just kind of followed Thora and did jobs together. And now they're in this Inquisition stuff and being all formal, which is not what a little elf from the forest thought she was going to be doing, but is so ready to boss some temples. So
ready. Okay, great, thank you. So that's them. That's the world. Let's do this. I'm sure they're going to do very well. We're all sure they're going to do very well, and we're also all sure that I will only ever get asked to do helps and never hinders. So hint, I love doing hinders. So just yeah. So let us begin the story. We're going to be beginning slightly in the middle of things. It's the first session. They're inquisitors. They're professionals. They get quests and they do them. So it is a thinly raining evening on the coast of the waking sea. And even as the fresh droplets fall onto your face, you get, as the wind brings a oceanic saltiness on the breeze, you've come some way out of Valmarcia on one of the western roads to a tavern called the Sign of the Three Crosses, which is derelict. It's been empty for a generation or more, most likely. And you know that somewhere not far from here is the place you need to be going. And what you see is that there's a bank of hills somewhere not too far distant. And you know from having come uphill from the town that these hills actually give way to stark coastal cliffs. And you know that you're looking for some sort of entry into some caverns nearby. The day is fading, and through the very thin clouds, there it is, the disk of the sapphire sun high overhead.
I thought we'd get here faster. Okay. What do you think, Iris?
I think we should have a good look around.
So, as you say that and you begin to look around, it seems as though whatever mysterious forces ordain the fate of the world have decided that tonight might not be your night, and the wind whips the rain into a light mist, somewhat obscuring your vision.
Can we test that Praxis's mic is working? Nope.
I bet she
I
said a
know
really
it.
bad word. That was a
Yeah.
bad.
Yep.
I saw it.
So everyone knows.
Maker's balls.
Yeah, Praxis has a lot of bad words, and that was one of the really bad ones. So it's probably a good thing the mic's not a factor.
Yikes.
Just, I don't need a letter from the FCC, frankly. That would be really bad.
No. Should we go to a tiny break and fix up Praxis?
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's
Yep,
let's
sounds
do
good.
that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, hi, Trash Fam. My microphone works now. If you couldn't tell, I sang it an awkward song, and it worked. So if your tech doesn't work, sing it an awkward song. That's your trash fact for the day. Back to you, Sable.
Well, sorry to pass the ball, but back to you, Inquisitors. A mist has been conjured by the winds of ill fortune.
We pull our cloaks closer around us.
Look, I don't really want to be traipsing around all this cliff sides and weird. It's out again. Look, I don't want to be accidentally walking off of something that I'm not going to see. I think we should just camp for now. I mean, the sun's going to set soon anyway. Any objections?
I think that's a good idea. I can't see anything in this bloody mist anyway.
We'll start pitching camp.
So one of the things that you were told by Adriana was that people of the sort that you're meeting, when they say they want to do a thing in a certain way, they usually mean it. And when they say they want something done at a certain time, they probably mean that too.
Oh, wait, what did it say?
Iris, you're the boss.
We need to do this as soon as possible.
So no camping then.
Wait, okay, then I take it back. Hold on. Because I did not.
We must do this as soon as possible.
Well, Thor, if you're scared, why don't you stay next to Iris and we'll walk nearer the edge of the cliff to make sure you're safe.
I don't mind falling off a cliff for someone.
Wait, what was the time we were supposed to see it?
Just after sunset.
But it's not sunset yet? So we still have to find the cave, right?
Yeah, you can't quite tell because of the mist, but the light level it's just about to set. Like, you've probably got some time.
Oh, okay, well then we have to keep looking for the cave. We just have to be careful that we don't step over something.
Yes, please don't.
Take all of that back then.
It's okay. When the light fails, I'll light a torch and we'll be able to see where we're going.
Right.
Onwards.
So, I guess everyone make me a perception search test.
Perception seeing, because I have a bonus in perception seeing.
Yeah, seeing.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wait, and then plus the modifier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got
Wait, that's a lot of
a
math.
skill in it.
A +2 for focus, yeah.
16 with a 6 on the dragon die.
Wow. I almost said that.
15, 16, 17.
I rolled well. Tins. Not all that perceptive.
24 with a 6 on the dragon dice.
Blimey. What were you worried about?
I couldn't count that high on one hand.
You can see better than all of us.
Okay.
How well did you roll?
I did 2 6s and a 5, and then I have my perception. I have a proficiency, and it's a lot.
It's a lot. That's fine. No, that's great. That's
What
good.
do your dwarf eyes see?
Yeah. I was ready to be impressed by Tiernan, but I guess
No one's ever impressed by Tiernan.
Oh, that's
Harlan
not
is
true.
Aw,
Don't do that. Don't be mean to my friend.
No.
Like every second, he's like, "Oh, Tiernan, you're looking good today." In his head,
Nice hair swoosh you got there.
So yeah, maybe it's something about maybe it's something to do with having lived underground for so long. But actually you kind of get a sense for the way the air is moving over your skin. And maybe the entrance is this way. Or that could just be complete bullshit. And it might just be that you saw it really well. But either way, something really clicked. And Tiernan, you know as well that's probably the right direction. You can actually see both of you a light coming from that way. And making sure that you keep everyone together and within sight of each other. You make your way. And you can see that there is a cave nestled into the hill. And outside of it, there are 2 men. And somewhat absurdly, they're sitting there dressed like anything from sailors to dock workers. They've got fishing gear. One of them seems to be repairing a line. But this is a strange place to fish, and they both also seem to have short swords. One of them sitting there with a short sword over his lap, and the other one's got his stuck in the ground nearby. And they sort of look over to you, and one of you expresses eloquently, "Fuck off." Oh, fuck off.
Good evening.
No, it's horrible evening. Go away.
Is cave trout? Is that it?
What the fuck is a cave trout? Is this your first time doing this? Because normally we try to work those into an actual fucking sentence. Like, I don't know. Oh no, we're just here for the cave trout. Oh, whatever.
I mean, pardon me, sir, but in her defense, what sentence has cave trout in it naturally?
We're here to see the famous cave trout of Valmarcieux.
Do you have any cave trout lying about?
Okay. Come on. Trust these tits. Come on.
It's okay, Tiernan.
They visibly sneer at both Tin and Arlen.
Arlen just gives them a glare back as he's walking past, and he has like a handle on his bastard sword, and he just gives them side eye as he enters the cave.
Yeah. So what are you two wearing?
We're wearing our armor.
Of course you're wearing your armor. Why wouldn't you wear your armor? So you're led into the caves. They are elaborate and winding, but your guides never seem to become lost. Either they're looking out for marks that you can't see, or they simply have done this. They walked this route so many times. These are, as far as you can tell, natural caverns. In places, they're almost too narrow to travel through comfortably.
Oh no.
But the air in here is only a little stale. In places, the walls are damp, and even a little mossy. Soon, you hear the bobbing sound of things floating, and the smell of stale seawater hits you, and you emerge into a large cave where essentially an underground lake dominates, and there are a number of rowboats which have been moored against rotting posts. There are probably half a dozen people in here already when you arrive, and Thor, your eyes are still very keen from dwarven senses, and you can see the occasional movement in the shadows that indicates that the 6 or 7 people you can see aren't all of the people. You're led down a creaking but stable wooden staircase onto the rock floor, damp rock floor, which is the natural rock, and you're taken to a man dressed in garb that was probably once very fine. You can see it's patched in places. It's been very frequently and painstakingly repaired. It's the sort of outfit which you probably imagine wouldn't have been too out of place at a formal ball at Val Royeaux. The man's skin is tanned and a little rough. essentially, it's fairly obvious he spends a great deal of time at sea. He hasn't shaved for a couple of days. He's in his mid-30s. He has sort of dark, naturally wavy hair, just shy of his shoulders. And he gives you a very curt bow. Good evening.
Good day.
Well, I don't like to have people at a disadvantage. I am Ludovic Ducasse.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Iris. This is Thora. Iris points to the Templar lads.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Alan. This is Tiernan.
And this is Effie.
Yes, the Valmarcia Inquisitors.
Indeed.
Everyone can make me a cunning test.
Interesting.
If any of you have a focus in military law, then that will count.
I got 11 again. It's a theme.
I got an 8.
9.
13 with a 5.
I can't hear Praxis.
Oh dear.
I can hear Praxis because I'm in the same house, and she's shouting quite loudly.
Come the fuck on!
Okay,
Oh, I got it.
I apologise.
Tiernan, such language.
I got a 10 and doesn't swear. I got a 15 with a 2.
Okay, were any of you using military law?
Nope.
Nope, that's fine.
But I have research. No, as in like I'm a journeyman law person, so if I do get law, I get more law.
Oh, okay.
So I pay attention.
So, Tiernan, Arlen, and Effie, you have heard actually since your time here, and possibly from before, of someone called Ducasse, who is a pirate of modest renown. But actually, Tiernan, you know a bit better than that. You think that probably pirate is a bit of an exaggeration. Probably smuggler is the better term for him.
Does he look like he's from Ravine?
Well, the outfit that he's wearing is the sort of thing that you would expect to see an Orlesian noble wearing, but he doesn't really carry himself like a noble at all.
Okay.
He's Ludovic Ducasse. He is it's an Orlesian name.
Ah, of course.
He, though I am not, is speaking Orlesian. Or probably the trade tongue with an Orlesian accent, but certainly he seems Orlesian.
Okay.
And he's appraising you all as you're appraising him. His eyes linger on the two Templars, just a little longer than the others.
Eye contact is made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of his men, the way they're looking at you is quite sort of intense. Some of them are actually looking a bit offended that you're here. But Ducasse himself seems perfectly at ease.
Tiernan is keeping an eye on the exits.
Well, exits, there are quite a few. There's the one that you came through. There's swimming.
Let's nix swimming as an option for now.
Not in this armor.
No, thank you.
There's exiting through the fade, such as if you manage to get yourself killed.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
Sounds horrible.
after evaluating you, Ducasse nods.
Bit of a walk you've got here. Thought I was going to get stuck in that tunnel.
It helps to know your way around. I've been using this place for some time. And, of course, you wouldn't want to go down the wrong tunnel. No. So, I think the tides will be against us in a certain amount of time, so perhaps I should get straight to business.
That would be required.
Nice. So, in Valmarcia, you probably know of a dockside tavern called the Sunken Aravel. You know, the sort of place where the ale would be questionable enough, but the fact that they dilute it with brackish water makes it somehow even worse. The sort of place where the poor bastards who live around there is the only place they can afford to go. Well, tomorrow night, if you agree to help me, okay, I need you two strapping Templars to wait near the tavern. A man I've never met, don't know him, but he's wearing an orange bandana, will approach you and ask if you're ready to go. Then he'll lead you to a certain warehouse. You'll talk your way into the warehouse with some of that patented Templar charm, and they will move certain boxes to certain boats. And then afterwards, they'll row you a little way out of sight, drop you off safely on your way. Job done.
I see.
And what do we
And
get
what
in
of-
return?
See, now that's a good question. And I can respect someone asking a question like that. You should always establish the fee up front. Well, the truth is, I'm looking to establish what we call an ongoing, mutually beneficial relationship with, well, not the Inquisition in general, your cell of the Inquisition. You should not underestimate the value of friendship with a man who sees as much of the world as I do, especially when I see it from such unsavory angles.
And
Obviously, you're not my hostage. If you wish to decline my offer, my people will lead you safely out of the cave, and we'll never darken each other's doorways again. No harm done, no hard feelings. I'll find another way.
what of our companions? You only mentioned us in this plan.
Well, I wanted to meet all of you, but really, it's you two and that nice shiny armor and that sacred swagger that I'm interested in.
And I'm guessing we don't get told what's in these boxes that they'll be moving.
I couldn't possibly imagine I know. And if I did know, I imagine it would bore you.
I'm sure it wouldn't.
If you need some time to discuss it amongst yourselves, by all means, although don't take too long, I'd rather not drown in this cave after all these years.
You talk
Allow
of,
us a moment.
you talk of things that you would offer us, but are you referring to goods or connections? Persons' connections are only as useful as they are. So surely we would need to know a bit more about what you propose.
I apologize. I thought that I was speaking the trade tongue. I now realize I slipped into my very obscure and very ancient dialect of Old Orlesian. I'm looking to establish a ongoing, mutually beneficial relationship with your Inquisition cell.
And how would it benefit us, I believe is what we are asking.
I'm glad you asked. Mutually. That is to say, it will benefit you in direct proportion to that it benefits me. Much as when you walk into a shop and you hope to benefit by goods proportionally to the shopkeeper benefiting by point.
Of course, traditionally in a shop, the shopkeeper would have their goods on display so that one could see accurately what they were purchasing before making it.
You've never shopped in Val Royeaux, have you? No. Tedious business, that. Anyway, if you need some time to decide, by all means, I don't want you to feel under any sort of pressure at all. Except, of course, the pressure of the rising tide, but I think we've probably got another hour or so.
Excellent. I'm going to take that offer. Gang.
By all means. Sander, will you take them off up north there? Yeah. No, obviously not. I'll be right here. Waiting again, I suppose.
We shan't be too long. Right.
Appreciate that. I will go if the tide starts rising. Obviously, I'm not going to die for this.
We'll go too. Don't worry.
Okay, so Thora really likes this guy. Ugh.
I like them. I think
Just something about the talking in circles. I don't know. It's great. How big of a crime do you think this is?
Probably fairly big.
It doesn't have anything to do with murder.
No, this is most definitely smuggling of goods.
I'm not sure how good it looks that they're abusing our position as Templars.
By not letting us know what is in the crates or whom we are dealing with, we are not technically committing a crime.
I'm just not sure how I feel about our name, our status being used for something potentially illegal.
That is another issue, for certain.
You'd rather have your name used for terrorizing mages.
Enough.
Effie, do you feel particularly terrorized right now?
No.
Precisely.
It's hardly the point.
Look, I'm just saying maybe these connections will benefit us, even if he is talking cryptically and without actual proof.
Iris, you're supposed to be the leader in this mission. Were you told anything else? Why do we want these people's cooperation?
Really, no, I was just told that somebody wished to talk to us, and if a deal was to be made, then it would get certified with the higher-ups, but we could make it.
Does Adriana want this to happen?
She wants something to happen. Nothing's happened in weeks.
Dylan speaks the truth.
What about a compromise? He spoke of you being large and strapping, and that's true with or without your armor. Perhaps we could propose to him that you simply intimidate with your physique, but not wearing the Templar insignia and not representing Andraste or the Chantry.
And then if something kicks off, we're caught with our trousers down.
Can you not handle yourself in a fight?
Well, I'd rather not be stabbed through the chest if it's avoidable.
The way he was talking, it sounded like the only way they could get in there is if they had Templars to get in. So it's got to do something with...
Tiernan, what do you think?
If we get into trouble, we don't know what he's transporting. That's true. And we've been seconded to the Inquisition to do the Inquisition's bidding. We answer to Adriana, and she's delegated this decision to Iris. So we do what Iris says. It doesn't directly harm the Chantry to do so.
It appears we're at your beck and call.
Okay.
My strapping physique is all yours.
Votes against?
Vote?
I want to know everyone's opinions before I make a decision, Tiernan. That's what a leader does.
Not really.
Thora, what do you think?
I feel like it doesn't matter what I think, but we could always
so
fail the
dumb.
mission, which blows back on everyone, but we have no details. There's not really a way to, unless we can convince him to tell us everything he knows, which hasn't been going well. It feels like we're blind in this situation, but that's exactly what he wants, so that's not helpful either.
Effie?
Connections are valuable, regardless of where they're from.
I'd hope to avoid situations like this.
That's exactly why I joined the Inquisition. And here we are again.
Well,
believe
perhaps...
the Inquisition needs as much help as it can get. And he seems a well-connected fellow. And I think we could benefit from it.
If we do this now, then perhaps our next mission might lead us to a more savory connection. Working our way up from the bottom, as it were.
And
Okay.
we'll have more leeway after this.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't go tits up then.
Well,
Apologies.
we will be near wherever you are. We'll try and get as close as possible. Me and Thora are quite good at scouting, and I'm sure if he can tag along, she seems able to handle herself.
Just what we want.
Okay.
Well,
that's settled.
Iris, take it from here.
Let's go back. Go back and find him through the caves.
Yeah, well, the bloke who led you to your meeting space is sort of waiting not far away, discreet distance away, so he can take you back without any problems.
Mm-hmm. So, we've decided to take you up on your offer,
Magnificent.
but we need more details. Where, when?
I see. Again, I must apologize. You see, I am inhabited by a Fade spirit that only speaks Ancient or Legion, so occasionally I might slip into that. When is tomorrow night, just after sunset? Where is an inn called the Sunken Aravel on the dockside?
Is this likely to go smoothly?
Who is a man I've never heard of wearing an orange bandana?
Orange bandana, yes. Yes, we had.
Well,
What I'm asking is, are you expecting trouble?
I should have thought so. I mean, I don't know what your methods are. I mean, you're Templars. You've kicked down your fair share of doors. But I was hoping you'd be a bit more finessed about this. What I really need is two scary-looking persons, such as yourself, wearing, Templar garb. If it helps you, just pretend there's some poor mage kid in there you need to get to. No sense of humor. Sorry.
I think that wasn't very funny is the issue.
I thought it was quite funny.
Right, well...
Do you know if there's a sufficient place for us rogues to be near?
You do it however you like. I really don't mind. All I need is certain boxes on certain boats. And I think the best way to do that would be to have you two talk, if you can, your way into the warehouse. I'm sure the rest of you will either stay away from it or find another way to make yourselves useful. I always find a lookout is quite helpful in situations like this.
Okay. Fine. Tomorrow, sundown, we will be there.
Well, I won't be, and I don't know really what you're talking about, but I hope you have a really nice evening.
You too. I think Iris would just turn away. She's had enough.
Do you think you would enjoy a nice swim if we just blocked off that cave entrance?
It was
Would
lovely
make the whole
meeting you.
evening sort of pointless.
Probably cause us more trouble than he's worth.
It's for the Inquisition.
For the Inquisition.
Effie's going to kind of lean over to Thora and be like, he was kind of handsome, wasn't he?
I liked him at first until he opened his mouth, and it just went downhill after that.
All the time. It always happens that way. They start out beautiful, they open their mouths and just...
I don't know if that's true. I can hear you, by the way.
Oh, I was whispering.
It's a cave.
Yes.
You are echoing slightly.
Well, then he heard me.
I stand by it. Buy it.
I mean,
buy it.
Either he heard you, or the bloke escorting you out of the cave heard you.
Some people can be handsome and charming.
I don't think I've met one yet.
Effie.
Ow, shade.
I've met a few.
Well, I mean Thora. Oh, sorry, I mean Thora. But I thought we were talking men, but Thora is beautiful. Obviously.
It's a good thing this cave is dark. 'Cause she blushing.
I mean, has she seen herself? Like, I feel like that should be something she knows.
It's fine. You and your seductive ways.
It's true.
There's a pause, and then you just hear it in the cave system. Just
Echo.
you didn't know how Tiernan can make a sigh echo, but he manages.
A nice cup of tea and you'll be right as rain.
So you are led at last back out into the drizzle. Takes a moment for your eyes to adjust to the still fading daylight and the blue, the faded blue that now washes over the world. And you begin your damp trudge back to Val Marcia.
Please don't fall off the edge, anyone. That would be rather unfortunate right now.
Try my best.
It's difficult to heal if I can't reach you.
That's a point.
Watch your step and we'll be fine.
Tiernan puts his hand on Arlen's arm.
So you make your way back towards the town, having just planned the most straightforward, foolproof heist ever devised.
Show up.
I guess session's over then, because you're obviously going to win without any problems. So this has been Under the Sapphire Sun. So I propose a very short break to get more tea. And we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Sup, trash fam? I was just finishing my tea, which has gone cold, but I'm going to drink it anyway because it's a waste. Welcome back to this, the second half of our inaugural stream of Dragon Age Under the Sapphire Sun. As story told, not by me! I'm playing! This was a fake out! We, the Eat Your Trash Group, playing the amazing members of the Inquisition in Orlais. Arlen, Thor, Iris, Praxis, and Effie. No, Tin and Effie. Praxis is not. Praxis would be amazing. She just walk around swearing at people, being like, "Who's this? What's happening? There's magic. What's that thing?
When do I get to use a major hinder?"
Somebody get interiority on the phone. What do you mean you don't have a phone? What's wrong with you? That's me. Why am I doing an impression of me? Anyway,
I don't know. It was a good one.
Thank you. So if you missed the first half, shame on you. Where were you? We waited and everything. The members of the Inquisition ended up having a discussion with a potential contact who was a potentially shady smuggler. No, he was a definitely shady smuggler.
For sure.
Who has given the team a quest to go and be Templars at a situation until the smuggling happens. And we have to go back and report back to our handler in the Inquisition. Speaking of handler, I'm going to hand you back to your storyteller, Sable Whisper. Take it away. Victory sip.
Okay, so it's a wet, dark evening, but you make it back to Valmarcia. Valmarcia, its original elven name is lost to history, but it was once to be the port town that serviced Halam Shiral. But when Halam Shiral was conquered, Valmarcia followed suit, and it sort of evolved into a major stop on the way to Valrio, or from Valrio. It does have a moderately large harbour, disproportionately maybe for the size of the town. But the thing that defines Valmarcia, the thing that makes it so successful economically, even perhaps especially in hard times like these, is that it is on one side of a broad river estuary, and on the other side are acres and acres of salt marshes. And the industry, other than shipping, that defines Valmarcia is the massive salt panning that goes on, salt that supplies all of southern Orlais, and parts of Ferelden. So there's lots of seasonal work for people in Valmarcia. There's a considerable elven population in the town. There's no alienage. Because Halam Shiral is so close, any elves who make their way here will tend to go there instead. But there is an elven population. They tend to be on the poorer side, which is the usual story in Orlais. Valmarcia isn't a mud hole by any stretch of the imagination. It's got its scummier parts, as all dock towns will. You won't find any mansions here, no holiday homes of the rich and famous. And you make your way through the azure-lit streets to the abandoned tavern, the Emprise de Gloire, where the Inquisition itself has made its base of operations, or its bureau, as the Inquisition terminology goes. And there you live, there you work, there you compile what little you've managed to achieve in the few months that you've been in Valmarcia, and you go and see your seeker in command, Adriana de Malfa. Adriana is a seeker. She is a dedicated career seeker. And probably of all of you, it'll be Iris and Thora have known her the longest. Before the Inquisition was called, Seekers, especially since there are so few of them left, they run networks of agents in places. Agent, I literally mean people who do stuff and report stuff on behalf of Seekers. And then when the Inquisition was called, she went, well, Iris and Thora, they've done really well for me in the past. They've got a good pair of brains between them. We'll make them proper Inquisitors. And the rest of you sort of followed. Adriana is not your buddy, but you have a very good relationship with her. She's not stern. Certainly for Arlen and Tiernan, who are used to the less than maternal administrations of Andrastinia back at the Templar complex at Monsimard. But she is very effective. She's absolutely desperate to prove herself. You've been sort of flung into a corner of the Orlesian Empire here, but she's determined to get everything out of Val Marcieux that she can. It's very obvious to you that she's been staying up, waiting to hear back from you. She spends a lot of time writing letters up the chain to the Inquisitor she reports to, usually reporting very little, but she likes to remind them that she's there, remind them that you're here and working. And you can see she's been doing that. She's even writing when you arrive. And she looks up. And she says, "Oh, you're back earlier than I expected."
It was a quick chat, thankfully. So we found the cave. It was rather unwelcoming, but we spoke with a fellow, Ludovic Ducasse.
Really?
He wishes to use us, and in return, we have his connections.
Okay.
He wants the Templars to go to a warehouse, meet a man, go to a warehouse, and escort some boxes onto a boat.
Uh-huh.
And that is all.
So piracy.
Yep.
I believe
Yeah.
so. However, he has, in return, offered us his connections in some cryptic way or another.
What are the connections of a pirate?
Well, in the case of Ludovic Ducasse, they're considerable. I won't name names, but I know that he is connected to some very illustrious people in the Orlesian Empire.
Well, we believed that the connections would be useful to the Inquisition.
If he has approached you with so specific a job, I'd be willing to bet that he has something very specific in mind to give us for it, even if he was playing coy, which his type often do.
I must say that I'm a little disappointed. I'd hoped to avoid such things as smuggling and back alley deals when I came to Orlais.
I think that's all there is in Orlais.
Well,
I just feel like it's a little beneath us.
It didn't seem so from the outside, I guess.
We put on a good front. Very pretty masks.
I came here for a reason.
well, I do appreciate your concern, Arlen. Well, you're not under my command. If you feel that this is beneath you, I'm sure that Sir Andrastinia would welcome you back at Monsimard. In the meantime, while I admit that it's a bit grubby, I have to say I'm relieved that this is all he's asked you to do. It's not ideal, but people like him will find a way to get what they want. Has he asked you to do any violence to anyone?
No,
It
he
was
wishes to use the Templars' presence.
I have a feeling that it was implied.
Well, we absolutely cannot have that. There's a line that we must draw somewhere. And no, I agree with you, Arlen. Smuggling is not the sort of thing we should be making a habit of. We shouldn't be damaging the trade of this town that hosts us, and we shouldn't be impoverishing honest merchants. Well, Iris, I said it was your call. If you feel that the potential reward doesn't justify going ahead, I will respect your decision. For my part, I'm not prepared to simply veto the quest. I think we should at least consider it. And I think we should be careful not to underestimate his determination.
I'm of that opinion. I think that the connections will be useful, and I feel the benefit of what we can have after completing this will be a lot less impactful than the actual doing smuggling.
I think if he's going to go ahead with this either way, then we might as well benefit from it.
At least we have some control over the situation if we get an inside look into the warehouse and what have you. We can scout in the coming hours to sunset, make sure that it's...
Do you know which warehouse it is?
Down at the Sunken Arva.
Well, that's the warehouse district.
We've been told they're going to be met by a man.
Of course, no. I assumed it would be too much to assume that an upstanding member of the community like Ludovic Ducasse would be specific in what he wants you to do. That was too much to hope for. I don't want Tiernan and Arlen to be out there on their own when they're doing this. So I think the best thing to do tomorrow during the day, if all of you, as inconspicuously as possible, just get to know the area. It's impossible to know exactly where you'll be going, but get to know the area. You two know you're not the only Templars in Valmarcia. And the last thing I want is dear, beloved Knight Captain Belfort to get the wrong idea about the sort of things we're doing here. So get to know the area. And the three of you be on lookout and work something out between you so that if anything gets too hot, you can withdraw. And honestly, if the choice comes between having unnecessary scrutiny on us from the Montsemard Templar Conclave and breaking a relationship with a known criminal, I'd rather break the relationship with a known criminal. We can do absolutely nothing, and I mean absolutely no offense to Templars as a group of people, but we will do absolutely nothing if we have Montsemard breathing down our necks. And I don't think any of us know that more than Tiernan and Arlen.
Well,
even though Tiernan and Arlen are Montsemard breathing down our necks. They're at least doing so in a benevolent way, and I do appreciate that.
Appreciated.
All right, well, I know this hasn't been the most pleasant evening. You all look absolutely soaked to the bone. Why don't you get something warming down you, sleep on it, and tomorrow, Iris, the mission is still in your hands. So you're still in command. When you're out there tomorrow, everyone just make sure anything you think, anything you notice, run it through Iris. She can make the decisions. You'll all get your turn. I want to make sure that when something really big comes along, we're absolutely ready for it. And this is a great test of that. You've done really well so far, all of you.
Thank you.
Well, good night then.
All right. Dry up. Get a good night's sleep. You need to be very, very alert tomorrow.
Of course.
Right. Well, I need to get out of this armor. Oh.
Iris, let's go this way by the fire. Help me with my cloak, yeah?
Of course, sure.
Okay. Well, T, come on. Oh,
Okay.
Tiernan, you are muted again. Usually comes back in a second.
Probably with very loud swearing.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that's the official fix.
That's the how it's activated.
It's a magic spell.
I'll have my conversation with Iris then. Well,
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
wait. I know that was really scary. You did all right.
I hope so. I honestly thought I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
You're helping.
I hope
No one's dead. That's good.
that's
We didn't
always-
accidentally start a war. That's also good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Seekers seemed okay with what we did. I mean, and if it gets things going, fine.
Yeah, we'll just use our seeing skills tomorrow.
I don't really like the idea of starting tomorrow, though. If it's putting our resident Templars at risk, I mean, I doubt this pirate is going to wait for morning to start hiding boxes everywhere. And I don't want to put them in danger just because we need connections. I'm thinking I might want to scout out tonight.
Really?
I mean, what are we going to do if we wait till the morning?
I suppose any activity will be hush-hush by then.
I also don't want to go against the Seeker because she said wait till the morning, and I don't want...
And the weather's terrible. Would we even see much?
Probably not. It is raining.
Yeah, and dark, and
I hate letting this sit. The longer they have to do whatever they're doing, the more chance something's going to go wrong, and there's just something about him. Why couldn't he just answer one single question?
because he's a
Just one.
smuggler.
Oh, if I was a smuggler, maybe that's how I would be too.
I mean, I would, at least.
I don't like this train of thought. I don't want to imagine my life as a smuggler. Let's
Me
change the
neither.
subject. I need some
I'm just-
food. Let's get food.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that.
Mm. Gonna go eat awkwardly.
Yum, 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 yum.
Just quickly checking my microphone.
You're good.
Yes.
You're back
good.
with us.
I'm not going to strangle it because it's doing well for now. But it knows what it is.
Do we have a room here?
Yeah, we stay at the... Because it's a... If I understand the situation, it's an abandoned pub inn.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I imagine that we've got the big room downstairs, which is where like our stuff is and we hang out. And then we've got like bedrooms upstairs that we just kind of take over.
Yeah, so the your presence here is official. In essence, there's a sort of a council of elders sort of thing that runs the town. The chantry pays them essentially rent for the derelict building. So yeah, it was an actual merchant's inn. So there are loads of rooms. The thing runs to 3 stories, and there's a basement below. So it's quite extensive. I mean, the idea is, in theory, you find runaway mages and you put them up here and help them work.
So what you're saying is the Templars can have found a double room that's big enough for them and their stuff.
Yeah.
My game is made.
Certainly more room than you'll have had at the Templar camp.
Yeah. We won't be sleeping in dormitories for one.
Well, to briefly deviate, to respond to a conversation that's happening outside the universe, while there are indeed Kunari in this world, no one knows they exist yet. It's a few hundred years before the Kunari arrive in Thadis.
It's true.
But no one has any idea. But possibly the Tavin to know they're there, but no one else has any real idea that they're there.
Blissfully ignorant.
Fun fact of each other. I'm sure they're better off as well.
So yeah, Tin and Arlen go up to their room to rack their armor and make sure it's clean and dry and not rusty.
Yeah, you'll have to go upstairs and oil up your armor. Sorry,
I will come down.
sorry, I couldn't resist, but I will minor hinder myself.
Are you saying that's not what's happening? Because I'm just.
I am not the maker, and I am no one's judge. So.
Well, Tin actually is the canonically the armor carer of the group, so he will be oiling the armor. Filth wizards.
I can't help it.
That's the truth.
Why'd you make him so handsome then?
He did. That was the maker. The maker made him handsome.
Technically, I made him handsome.
Quite right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tin will sort of be quietly just getting on with making sure their things are very neatly put away. He doesn't let Arlen do it because he'll just do it wrong.
It's true.
So, yeah, you sleep.
Can we talk?
We were talking.
We were sorry. We were going to have a conversation before we sleep.
That's while you armor polish. That's fine.
T, you've been very quiet.
I just thought we'd let Iris get on with it. You know, she had a council meeting to run.
Do you think we're doing the right thing?
Helping a smuggler?
I know.
I mean, on the list of things we could be doing, it's not that bad.
This was the sort of bullshit, which was why I left Kirkwall, and just to be back in the thick of it. It's just for once in my life, I'd like to feel like I'm doing some good in the world.
In this instance, Adriana says that if it becomes violent, we don't have to be involved, which is a step up.
Yes, but I feel like show up in your armor and talk your way in is about one step away from barge in with your swords drawn, and I just can't see any way out of this where we're not going to have to fight.
Well, we won't fight to hurt. I don't want to hurt anyone.
No, me neither.
And if it's just boxes of stuff, that's fine. That's okay. That's the kind of jobs I can do. I can move boxes. Moving boxes is what I'm good at.
You're good at a lot more than that.
Oh, I'm not good at intimidating people.
Well, that's why I'm here.
That's true. I just don't want to leave you high and dry, you know? I can't scare people into doing things. I wouldn't know where to start.
Look, I have faith that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Well, my mind is not the thing in question here. It's the rest of me I'm worried about.
Hey, you've had training like all of us. I've seen you. You know how to handle a sword. And I just hope that you don't have to. It's fine. The Maker led us to this path, so we should see it through. And if you're in doubt, just, he sent you here, so.
The Maker set this path before us. He gives us trials that we may overcome them. I shall not fear the Legion.
Yes. What do you want to do before bed? Are you hungry?
No, I'm really not hungry. I'm gonna finish my tea and get some sleep. You coming?
Yes. Yes, I'm quite ready for bed, I think.
Then I say we bar the door and get an early night. The others can do as they please.
Sounds good to me. We need all the sleep we can get. Come here then. They obviously sleep in their position of big spoon, little spoon.
For warmth. For warmth.
Yes.
To save on fuel.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted.
Ha! Now who's the muted one? Unless he's muted on purpose to make a point.
I only had sarcasm to give. I only like irony and horrible insinuations to give. So
But we love them.
we did. Okay, you didn't miss out. Good. That's great. That's adorable. You can have an adorability point, which is redeemable at the adorability store.
Oh, I'll write it down.
Can we pool our points to get like a joint thing?
Only people in certified ships can pool points.
Well,
So, Tin and Alan can pool points. Effie and Adriana can't.
You say that,
is
now I ship it.
rude, and you're gonna be proved wrong real fast.
I don't
Who's
see.
got the seduction skill? That's right.
I don't see Seeker Mage romance as a big factor in Adriana's life.
Oh, but now I want it. I didn't.
Now it's forbidden fruit ship.
yeah, you cannot dangle a romance in front of Sunny and have her not want.
I forgot. I forgot who I was talking to.
Literally mention a name. I should it.
Don't drag me like this.
I only do it because I love you.
Unkind and true. It's all true. It's whatever. Man.
Okay.
Hmm.
What does Effie do with her evening?
Yeah, what's Effie up to? Effie's not done much.
Shipping, probably.
No, Effie's like thinking up strategies, man. She's probably gonna grab some soup, but she's gonna grab it for the girls. And she's gonna set some down for Thora and Iris.
Girl chat.
Thanks.
You
Thank
did
you, Effie.
you did really well today, Iris.
Look, I know that talking is not your favorite thing to do, but for having to do it and in front of all of those people, it went well.
I'm just worried about tomorrow.
You were confident when you needed to be, and you listened to other people's input. Those are very important qualities of a leader.
I feel like Tiernan wasn't so.
Tiernan's Tiernan. You can't base your leadership off of his opinions. He always frowns. That doesn't go away whether you're doing well or not.
That's true.
I bet you, though, if you ask Arlen, there's a different type of frown from when he approves. I bet you he knows what it is.
Huh.
Now I'm really curious. I
Oh,
don't
me
think I'm
too.
going to. I feel like it's rude to ask about.
We can't
someone's
do it
facial-
with Tiernan's around, and I don't think they're ever apart.
There's never going to be an opportunity to ask that question.
We're gonna have to learn it ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, look, back to the point.
So,
Look,
I was thinking tomorrow, I can pose as a merchant.
Oh.
I can put on my traveling clothes, and I mean, we can even make up an excuse for why the Templars are with me. My family is close with the Chantry, and they wanted me to have a guard while I traveled away from home because it wasn't safe for a young woman to be unescorted.
no, because then you're a target, an extra target for some random pirate with random feelers out saying, "Aha, look, young small child, we're going to kidnap her."
And then he gets stabbed through the ribs. That's okay.
Okay. But then
I'm just
we're
saying that way
injuring
we can-
people, and that's exactly what we're not supposed to do.
Well, to be fair, that wouldn't be part of the mission. That would just be like a side person attacking me randomly. We can't really plan our lives around that sort of thing because it either happens or it doesn't. I guess
Effie,
what I'm saying is it would be
Effie.
a good option for us to
No.
go through the warehouse district without a huge target on our backs.
Or we could just be very, very sneaky, which is what me and Iris are very good at.
Templars
Anyway.
are not
Templars.
sneaky.
They're not supposed to be.
But they have to get there somehow. My point is that we need I think you guys should scout it out first, but we need a reason for the Templars to be there at all.
I don't think they will need one. They'll be following this man with an orange bandana. He'll lead them to the warehouse. They'll barge their way in, and we have to be ready to swoop in and save them if they need it. I mean, that makes them sound like they can't take care of themselves, but I feel like we're putting them in this position in the first place, and I don't like it, and I hate this.
I feel like I would be a lot less worried if I knew the warehouse we were in. Because at the moment it's a number of places, and that's a number of factors we need to take into account, and that's too many for my brain. So
this is not how we do jobs. This is not how we got so good, and I feel like we're starting over from the beginning.
I don't like it.
Do you remember that first job?
Yes.
Oh no. We said never again, and here we are.
You should never say never again. The moment you say never again, it's guaranteed to happen again.
Clearly.
That's just the rule. So why don't we do this? We, the Templars, and I can walk through the warehouse district. We don't need an excuse, but you guys scout it out. You can investigate the individual warehouses, and then once the guy with the yellow bandana shows up, I'll have long since left and joined you. I'll hide somewhere safe, and then you can follow them, and you'll know the warehouse because you've checked them all.
I feel we need to find out the warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and once we found out the warehouse, we need to find a sufficient escape route
Mm-hmm.
for if it turns violent, because I don't want violence. Adriana doesn't want violence.
I don't trust that man not to be violent.
I feel like we're just going to have to take it and hope.
I trust Tiernan and Arlen to disengage from the situation if they truly felt like violence was the only option.
Yeah.
They're smart
We're
enough
really-
to just leave.
And we're really good at distracting, so
I'm
This is
very good
true.
at distracting.
yeah, they'll get away just fine, I think.
But we definitely need to
Oh,
find a
yes.
route for them. Definitely.
It's why I think you should scout it out early because, I mean, you can't know which one it is until they're there, and I don't like leaving it till then.
I know.
Sure.
And I think you're sneaky enough, you can do it.
Oh, we can. No problem. This is what we do all the time, isn't it, Dora?
Why does that feel like foreshadowing?
Knock on the wood! Iris, I'm really glad that you're our leader.
Really?
I'm not sure I'll be able to sleep tonight.
Thank you for those reassuring words, Dora.
That's the
not
sign of a
you.
true friend, is if she can be honest no matter what.
I'm very worried. I'm allowed to be worried. It doesn't.
You're allowed to.
It's not your
Preparation will make you feel better. In the morning, we'll be up and we'll be prepping. And as soon as that starts, you'll feel more confident.
fault. Right.
You're a woman of action. It's normal that you feel antsy.
I do.
But food, soup,
Yes.
sleep.
I can't eat this.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing. I'm just very nervous, and I can't eat when I'm nervous, and it's a thing. And I'd appreciate if you didn't judge me. All right. I'm gonna go to bed.
It's
I'm
okay.
going.
No judgment. Maybe try doing jumping jacks or something.
Nope. I'm going to
Burn
sleep.
some
Good
energy.
night.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. She gets a bit stressed out, and usually I go and pick some flowers, and then I come back and I'm like, look at these pretty flowers, they're lovely. Take away stress out on the flat, but there's no flowers here because we're inside.
I mean, I have some dried herbal ones, but it's not really good for her to have anything that might make her sleepy in the morning.
We'll just leave her to it.
Mm.
I think I'm just gonna eat soup.
Mhm.
Delicious.
You're muted.
So
You played yourself.
It's yeah, it's a
Congratulations.
legit problem.
At least, unlike practice, I deliberately muted.
Is it track practice?
The shade.
Oh.
Well, what you all missed me saying was you can all have a soup point.
I think our points are better though.
How-
Adorability points.
Yeah, adorable points. We're saving up for a day trip to.
There's adorable store.
That's
and-
what I think of that.
You're nasty.
How did I get married? You're welcome, everyone.
All right. So, none of you dies in your sleep.
Nice.
Excellent.
Which would be pretty bad, session 1. You awaken. Effie, you have been having some quite colourful dreams over the past few months. And tonight was no exception. It was sort of one of those, because you're quite nervous about the potential for problems in the coming quest. You're sort of nervous, and you're having one of those nights where you're tossing and turning a bit, and sort of seeing repeated images here and there. And what you're sort of having is you're having this journey through the caverns, you know, that you couldn't quite make sense of because you were following someone else. You didn't really know where you were going. But you're having this sort of constantly turning left and right as you go through the caverns, but instead of dark, it's sort of a bit psychedelic. It's a bit sort of brightly coloured. Blue is a dominant theme, surprisingly enough. But it's a weird dream. There are no adverse implications yet. But yeah, you awaken. Adriana, as usual, has been up before any of you. Possibly sometimes the Templars are up a bit earlier to get in their morning calisthenics. But you awaken. The thin rain of the night before has gone, and it's a somewhat brighter day.
We were told to dress pretty relaxed for this, weren't we? We're not going out in clank.
No.
Didn't they say that they wanted the Templars to look imposing?
No,
For the night.
Oh.
because we're doing a bit of a scouting day
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
where Adriana would like us to be less.
Yeah, she doesn't want the attention of the Templars. The other
So-
Templars.
So Arlen will see, because Tiernan doesn't have a lot to wear. Like, so Arlen will see Tiernan like stood there being like, he has a uniform and like not much else.
You can borrow one of my shirts. Come on. Might be a
Thanks.
bit big on you, but we'll make do.
I've got a belt.
Okay.
Nice.
It looks cute.
Not the word I
I
would
mean,
use.
impressive and handsome.
All right, all right.
Feels weird to be going out without the armor on. It's been a while.
Yeah, I wonder when that clicking on my shoulder is going to go away.
Mhm.
Probably never.
Wonder if I could get a massage.
Probably a place in town for it.
Well, I don't want to go to that sort of place.
Boys. Boys are
Tannen's trying to figure out what he means by that. It's a massage place. And you want a massage, but you don't want to go to a place where you get a massage?
Arlen grew up in Kirkwall.
What a
We have a
riddle.
very different sort of massage place in Kirkwall.
Tiernan doesn't understand what that means. He thinks it's a riddle. He's trying to figure it out. He'll crack it. It's fine. He heads down and gets the tea on.
What's cooking?
Tea.
What else apart from tea?
I have no idea.
Is there a breakfast smell about?
There's probably a porridge smell.
Porridge and tea. It's classic. It's the
Yeah,
classic breakfast of champions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who's down there?
Probably just Adriana.
Oh, first one's up. I'll fix you a bowl, I guess.
Thank you. Tea, Adriana.
Thank you. Yes, I would like some.
Clink. Porridge. Certainly is food.
And it'll be all congealed if the others don't get up soon.
Should we wake them?
I feel like Iris would probably come like bouncing downstairs and then sees the Templars and Adriana and be like, "Oh, I need to be professional," and like, porridge.
Morning, Iris.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Did you sleep well?
Yes.
It's not a trick question.
No.
Okay.
But porridge makes everything better.
Well,
If you say so.
I don't think this porridge is performing any miracles.
Then I guess I'll have to hold out on the tea. She'll go and get porridge and tea and whatnot.
My tea?
My what not?
I'd like to think
For everyone, Tiernan.
I'd like to think too the noise of Iris is a bit like an alarm clock for Effie. And potentially for Thor as well. Like you hear Iris bounding and you go, "Oh, yeah, no, I can't lay here unable to sleep any longer." So Effie's gonna come down the stairs, bags under her eyes, and traveling clothes that are like they're nice, but they're very like they're worn at this point and just looks a bit just sleepy.
I feel like Effie and Thora open their doors at exactly
Yes.
the same
It
time
is
and
like-
share that.
Yeah. Girl, I got you.
I did that thing where I stayed up too late being worried and then fell asleep before I was supposed to wake up and
Didn't get nearly enough sleep, but not too little either.
this is not the way we do jobs. I hate you. It's fine. Let's go. Let's eat.
Are the are Effie and Thor dressed sort of? They're not dressed for going out. They're dressed sort of in their chill, staying at home gear.
Effie would have put on what it's not her normal outfit, but it's what she was wearing in the intent of wearing it to the warehouse. Not looking like a mage, not looking like part of the Inquisition. Just
Looking
kind
like
of
a-
nondescript.
More chill than normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you wearing?
It's called clothing.
I know that, mage.
I mean, you were the one who asked.
Why are you wearing your mage robe?
Because we need to be not noticed, and unfortunately, mages tend to stand out more than the average person.
Maybe you should stay here then.
We'll
Effie
be there,
is-
Tiernan. It's okay.
Effie is as much part of this as you are, Tiernan.
It's for the safety of the people of Almacia to know when there's mages present. It's just reasonable precautions.
Well, this isn't a reasonable job.
If we're doing reconnaissance, I suppose we can waive it this once. And
I just think if we start waiving precautions put in place to keep people safe from mages, then who knows what will end up.
Well, in that case, I would happily defer to the opinion of Adriana, since she is all our superiors.
In this case, I agree with Tiernan. There is no point gaining the enmity of the people of the town by appearing to behave recklessly. But of course, Effie, you know that I trust you.
And I would never abuse that trust.
I'm sorry, Avleda. The dress looks nice, though.
Effie's
Monty-
not 100% certain if she's supposed to go change or not, to be honest.
More tea, Arlen.
Oh, yes, please.
Yo.
think Iris would like put her hand on Effie's shoulder to be like, stay where you are.
Ooh, girl, yes. She gonna huddle up against Iris and be like, this bitch in charge, what you doing?
So, everyone slept, more or less?
Mm.
How are we feeling?
Ready to get this behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Tiernan's gonna shuffle in. Like, he's obviously muttering to Arlen, but, you know, he's not doing it loudly so as to be overheard, but it's quite clear that he's talking conspiratorially. I'll tell you who doesn't look rested. The mage.
I had noticed.
I mean, that's alarming.
It's noted.
We have to guard the streets from that.
We're doing it with our presence. At least we know we can keep an eye on it.
But if we have to go out unarmored, we are at disadvantage and she is not. It's just concerning.
If the Seeker thinks that it's all right.
I'll notice that the Seeker was particularly vague on what is all right.
Well, it defeats the purpose if we go out in our full armor today.
I know. I just don't want to be in a position to say I told you so. I'll take no pleasure in that.
I know. But we can be vigilant.
Vigilance can only take us so far.
I doubt she's going to become a fully fledged abomination before our eyes after one sleepless night.
I mean, people doubt, but you never know. What would that thing?
Our armor isn't the only thing that makes us Templars.
No. It's just one of a number of things. And I like
We have those other things. It's going to be all right. Trust me.
I do trust you.
I know. You're so tense.
I've lived in a constant state of tense for about 10 years. I'll probably live.
Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Just carry on being you. You make everything less tense.
Well, I'll cancel my plans to change who I am completely and become a new person.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Tiernan genuinely, after having had quite a tense muttering with his friend, genuinely like laughs into his tea.
Don't choke. I'll have to get you a new shirt if you spit tea all over it.
I'm sorry, I won't ruin your shirt. I wouldn't waste good tea either. I mean, this is passable tea, but I still wouldn't waste it on principle.
Effie's just gonna lean over to Thora and Iris and be like, do I really look that bad?
Ooh.
You look like I feel.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not great, honey.
It's fine. It's fine. Honestly, we're gonna be fine.
They're really bad at whispering.
That's okay. It's always unfortunate when someone is frightened by bags under one's eyes.
Yeah.
Although I did know some gentlemen in Valroyo that would often react in a similar fashion.
We should go. Yeah.
Oh, what Tiernan wants to clarify before we do go is we're going to be out in an inconspicuous fashion. I mean, this is kind of a thing Tiernan wants to know, but also Praxis wants to know. How how armed are people in the setting? Like, we have like our big, like our Templar bastard swords, and our Tin has a big shield. Obviously, we're not going full all guns blazing, but like how armed is it reasonable to be in the setting?
In general, I would say most people aren't. I mean, the definition of armed, for example, doesn't include someone carrying a knife. Because not a knife is a tool that you use for everything from eating to picking your toes clean. I don't know. Not in the same moment.
Once again, foot surgery features in a trash game. We can't help it.
But no, you would not expect to see someone walking down and the fact is that your weapons are issued from a Templar fortress made with good quality steel. So carrying it, you are either Templars or you've stolen it from Templars.
So seeing a good sword and shield in the context of Templar arms and armor is like, that's fine, that fits the silhouette of a Templar, but seeing it on some okay.
Like,
so Tin will grab a dagger but won't get the shield with the Templar sword on it. We're going incognito.
I guess I can get away with a short sword, right? Or should I take a small dagger as well?
I'd probably stick with the dagger if you want to be...
I hope I don't have to use it, because I don't have that written down.
Yeah.
I'll make a note.
Would the rogues, I feel like, would we have our stuff with us?
Depends what your stuff is, I guess.
A bow and stuff.
I mean, it's probably not likely you'd carry a bow with you. Unless you were going out of the town and maybe you fancied a bit of hunting.
Yeah, okay, it might be best to leave.
But I think the point of us going out is to not be seen.
Yeah, we're going to be sneaky, aren't we? Yeah, so I think that'd be alright.
You're in... It depends what you mean by not be seen. I don't know how you interpret that. If you mean not be seen as in don't do anything obvious and not be seen because why would anyone be looking at you? You're just some... If you mean not be seen as in sneaking around shadows doing your own theme music, you should bear in mind that it's broad daylight.
No, I feel like if the rogues stuck together, they would just be seen as like two outsiders and not...
Which is kind of normal. Like they would almost never not have weapons just because they're different, and as humans can be real scary sometimes.
Yeah, so I feel like we could probably get away with it and be okay.
Well, I mean, certainly there's a stereotype that dwarves are always armed, whether it's true or not. I think probably for Iris it would be difficult only because an armed elf is something that will make the town militia a bit nervous, depending upon how armed she is, of course.
It's a bow.
That's quite armed.
I was going to say that would be...
I mean, that is one of those weapons where there is no non-lethal way to use that. You are taking that out to kill.
I'm just cutting cheese with a cheese wire bow. No, okay, I'd leave the bow behind, most likely.
You can take it with you. There's no law against taking the bow with you. So.
But if the aim is to be less conspicuous than normal, then
probably take my short sword.
And Effie, you of course have your great staff of the Archmage, wreathed in cosmic fire.
Hang on, wait a minute.
That's on her character sheet, so I assume she legitimately has that as part of her class.
Let me a quick Templar huddle. Arlen, is that not fine? I think that's not fine.
I'd say that's pretty conspicuous.
Effie does not have a quarterstaff with her.
The Templars have ruled. No.
I think Adriana probably agrees with that ruling. So, you leave the Emprise de Gloire, and we will pan away from our noble inquisitors as they begin their day scouting and preparing themselves for their mission. And we continue panning away from them. Somewhere far away, unknown to the Inquisitors, a light flickers into being, very briefly, into shadows that have not been disturbed for centuries. There are no eyes to see it, but somewhere out there, something is awakening. Thanks for watching.
Oh no.
Okay. Raise your fucking hand if you just got wicked ass goosebumps.
It is weird being on the end of the storyteller's end of session stinger. That was
Right? Feel that.
Take that stick.
Get used to it.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well,
Oh,
Oh. Oh.
You're applauding yourself. Don't do that.
I'm
No.
applauding you.
Oh,
I'm
God, Bree.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you think people are doing when they're joining in?
Yeah, it's very
Yes,
dumb,
me.
No, I'm applauding you. That was great. That was really good.
Sable.
So good.
So, session 1 under the Sapphire Sun.
oh, I want more already.
Okay, so new session now. Sunny, put the cats out.
Yeah. They're already gone. We're good.
Pretty post your kids to the kid shed.
Don't say that. We'll get the services on her.
Kid shed.
That's incriminating.
The child garden.
Oh my
That's
god.
even worse.
No, kindergarten. Just a child garden. The child garden. That's
not
fine.
regarded as sinister for some reason. Though.
Child, but yeah, as soon as you say it in German, it's not sinister for some reason.
We just sound
Explain.
Nursery or preschool or whatever.
But yes. So, Under the Sapphire Sun was amazing, and we'd like the next session now. But unfortunately, we and everyone else who is as excited as us is going to have to wait until Tuesday, the 12th of June. That's
Yeah.
Tuesday, the 12th of June.
I don't think we mentioned that this is going to be every second week. We
Yeah,
mentioned
I
it in a
did.
previous stream, did we? Okay,
I
just
said,
making
I
sure.
said fortnightly and then realised not everyone knows what that word means.
I don't know what that word means.
I know, right? Apparently, it's a naval word in America.
But it's just, it
Yeah.
means fortnightly, every fortnight.
Every fortnight.
So
So
Fortnite isn't a thing.
It's a
That's his.
battle royale game.
it's if you have a week and then and then a night, and then the knight spends the night in the fort, and then it becomes
Yeah,
two
the fort.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fortnight.
Simple.
It's the
Done.
fortnight.
A fortified night.
I quit.
Fortnight.
I'm done.
Fortnight.
Thora is dead.
The colonies
go.
are
Playing.
the colonies are leaving.
Canada, come back. We miss you.
Yeah, you do.
You are
Yeah, you
beloved.
do.
So, what this means, segueing nicely into something completely the same but different, is that this week, those of you who are following us on Patreon will have the opportunity to get in touch about what systems you would quite like to see the trash crew, specifically me, because I will be running the game, tackle, because I am going to be starting to run a series of one-shots in the off week, which will involve some or all or none of the trash crew. Well, me, but the others are not dedicated to any time slots at the moment, which means I might be looking for others to get involved. Potentially. So if you are one of our many Patreon followers, then please do get in touch, because I'm going to be putting the topic to a vote very shortly. I don't know what the one shot is yet. I've not written it, but I'm reliably informed that I work best that way. Don't all rush to agree at once. In the meantime, I think I speak for everybody here present when I say a tremendous and heartfelt and unstoppable thanks to, not limited to, but including the following people: Amy C., who is known to us as our beautiful Donatella; Caffeine Kitty; James Malloy of Protein City Comics, which is coming out tomorrow morning. Don't forget to listen in, because I will be. Michael Bowman, who is lovely; Mike Fielding, who is another Mike and is lovely; and Mike Kilburn, the third but not least of the Mikes. Rich Hawks, Roasted Pot, which I'm reliably informed is like a pot roast and not some nefarious thing; William P. Hoffman; and of course, the almighty and mysterious Helena Handbasket.
So good.
Who are all, by the way, our lovely patrons. I haven't just gone mad and started listing people I know. We are... Well, oh no, hang on! Hang on!
Oh, yes,
What?
something happened during the stream.
I was about to
Something
say,
amazing.
we are tantalizingly close to our per month target. But
Ah?
in fact,
Oh my god!
during this stream, we have gained a new patron in the form of Mr. Christopher Gallen, a
What?
friend of Sable and Mines, who has backed the It You Trash crew and has sent me a message on Facebook.
I'm gonna cry.
He has backed us to the Maple tier, which is the highest accolade awarded to our patrons, because Sunny Kitty is our tech head that makes sure the stream runs. So without her, we would not have a stream. Pretty Ideal is going to cry. But what this means,
Which, to be fair, is promised in the tier.
what this means is very incredibly exciting, is that we have hit our $150 a month goal, which we didn't think we would hit for ages. So throw up trash bags for Chris,
Spam them.
for Chris, and for our patrons, and for just yourselves, and for me, and for the maker,
And Andrastic.
and Andrastic, obviously. So yeah, we launched this Patreon just over a month ago, and basically put down $150 a month as a kind of a good goal that would cover, our running costs, and some of us had to buy new tech to run the stream. Sable in particular has gone and decked out his entire new array just to be able to come and GM for us. So we decided that this money would be going towards ensuring that we all are able to keep doing this and not putting our own money into it, which we're happy to do. But you see, what I love is that Pretty is crying and I'm just word vomiting because I'm not
That's
crying.
what you do!
You're
So-
the word vomiter.
Have I told you about this this book? What kind of story fox? If in doubt, talk about the book. So you are probably asking, so now that you've hit the $150 a month target that you said, Praxis, since you wrote this, you put in bold on the Patreon, exciting new trash plans. And I promised you that they would be exciting, and they are, and I'm going to tell you what they are. First, I'm just going to finish my tea.
Oh, suspense tea! How dare you?
So wait.
Rude.
To mute
Evil.
I hope your microphone cuts out.
No, you don't. The others might die. So this is actually really beautifully timed. Sorry to coincide this with Under the Sapphire Sun, but as you know, recently our longer previous running campaign, Nishikawa High School Mystery Club, came to a triumphant end. Spoilers to anyone who has not yet caught up on last week's VOD. Turn your ears away now, and we will make blinking hand noises when we're done, so take your headphones out. The party unlocked their mystical, magical abilities of light, leaf, shadow, and flame. including the fifth Avenger, their young Itoshiki, the wielder of lost things, and overcame the blight that was afflicting the town of Nishikawa. And I promised that I would run for the It You Trash crew the perfect anime experience, which started off small and built up to phenomenal cosmic powers, and the boys really rose to the occasion. But as some of you may know, between series of popular TV animes, many companies will run dedicated made-for-TV movies about these animes, the plots of which will be far-reaching and dramatic and will often have very little bearing on the actual plot of the show. Sometimes they will not even reference them in later series, but they will be pretty dramatic. I mean, when do you see in the TV show Ash talking about the time he fought Mewtwo and Mew in Pokemon the movie? It doesn't happen, but that movie's a classic and I will fight you. So, after the success of, not to be that person, Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, the marathon stream we ran for that, at some point in the next, in the coming month, I'm not going to dedicate us to a time because I think we'd all just collapse if I put on too many marathon streams. We will be running another marathon day, which will be the Nishikawa High School Mystery Club movie. It will be dramatic. There will be helps and hinders flying around. The boys will be there. All your favorite characters. Some of maybe not your favorite characters, but they'll be there, and maybe probably almost certainly some new characters. And it will be very dramatic. And of course, that's gonna be a thing. Woo! Because of you, because of the phenomenal people who back us on Patreon. And I'm not going to cry, but I'm going to sip my tea.
Mm-hmm. I'm so happy.
We started this for this game, like tonight. This is why we did it. And we said, we don't want to lose something that we all like put our heart and soul into. And we said, why don't we just make a team of streamers? Why don't we try to build something together? And we built it. And that was such a big goal, and we were thinking, in the future, maybe some people will like what we do, and then you just on the night, for the reason that we made the Trash Crew in the first place, you just
I'm gonna cry.
Way to go, yeah, stop. Sorry. This is really beautiful, and I want everybody who's watching this or watching the VOD later to know that we appreciate this so much, because it's these people helped me through so much. And I'm okay, no, I'm sorry. But it's really nice that there's all this support and love, and this was our dream, and okay, I'm done. But thank you.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't think I could say it better than that.
Human noises.
Oh my words.
Okay. So once again, I'm going to do a fucking lap of honor because I can, because I have the Patreon dashboard and I am Praxis. That is what I do. So once again, I would like every one of you to throw trash bags to the heavens for Domitella, Caffeine Kitty, Christopher Gallen, Helena Handbasket, James Malloy, Michael Bowman, Mike Fielding, Mike Kilburn, Rich Hawks, Roasted Pod, and William P. Hoffman. They are our Patreons who have made us cry and have made Trashy very happy. I personally, as me, would like to thank the You Trash crew for being just my best friends and who make this all worthwhile. And I would like to thank Sable Whisper for coming here and making it possible for us to play these characters who we love so much. You are the only person I would trust to GM this game. Because for ages, guys, I was gonna run this game, and Tiernan was gonna be an NPC, but I wanna play, and
let me play.
Sable, babe,
wonderful. Thank you.
So good.
And basically now we're going to go and cry some more. So Twitter, follow us on Twitter for more information about one shots that are going to be run, Patreon things that are going to be Patreon.
But Praxis, when do the one-shots start?
The one shots will start soon. You will find out on Twitter. Stop nagging me, voiceover man.
If it was this
They're
week
fucked.
or another week.
Likely, the first one will run some point next week. Whether or not that is the Tuesday night or not is yet to be seen. But watch the skies. Next week, we might be coming to a computer near you if you log in to twitch.tv/you crew at the appropriate time with internet. But until then, the Under the Sapphire Sun game will return in June. And we will continue to be very stunned and grateful for a period of time non-terminating.
You get half a heart from me. I'm sorry. It's for all the love. Bye.